finishing off week 3 of social distancing and lockdown at our house, at the home house. It's been quite a time. It's looked like our dining room table becoming a homeschooling area. We are completely covered in books and papers and computers and markers and sewing machines and fur fabric and more. It's amazing. There's more cooking being done in my kitchen than has ever happened in our lives. We're driving in the car for absolutely no reason at all. There's this app called Zoom that I had previously never heard of in my life, and it has suddenly become my life. It looks like tears sometimes because my kids want to play with their friends. And it also looked like my tears sometimes when I'm trying to figure out what we're doing for dinner and I have a can of tomatoes and the end of a loaf of bread and leftover potato soup from Wednesday. So all that to say, I think I might have possibly romanticized some of this at the beginning. In my mind, I thought, oh, there'll be extra time to read. I think of all the projects that Chris and I will be able to get done that we've been putting off. But in the past month, reality has come very swiftly upon us, and I realized that, I was off. I was really wrong. And there's something else that I've also noticed, along with all of this has come some really emotional responses from myself and our family. Every day is another added day away from family. I can't hug my nieces and nephews. I can't go to my mom and dad, so we don't go to church. I can't go on a date with Chris or be with my fellowship group. I can't shake a hand. It's hard just to live normally and to act normally. All of these things are weights, they're pangs, and I know they're not forever, but they're something for right now. And I've noticed that stuff can really get to your brain. So I thought about this week and speaking on encouragement, and I told Chris, I think I'm going to talk about prayer. And he said, I think that's what I'm going to talk about too. That's what I'm already talking about in my sermon. So I said, okay, must be a God thing. So we're talking about prayer this week. Some of the things that I'm going to talk about, I am actually taking from my mom. She prays a lot, and she's been posting some really fascinating thoughts about prayer on her Facebook these days. Like people who are teachers, they just find ways to continue learning and teaching wherever they're at. And she posted this quote the other day. A wise saint once said, "Here is one of the greatest values of praise. It decentralizes the self. The praise of God demands a shift of center from self to God. One cannot praise God without relinquishing occupation of the self. Praise produces forgetfulness of the self, and forgetfulness of self is health." So Jesus taught us that prayer begins with praise, always. So before we ask or we petition, we first adore and we prize him, because it does this. It decentralizes ourselves and everything that's happening around us and everything that we're experiencing. It puts a correct focus on God being the center. He is the correct, the beautiful, peace-finding, rest-giving center. And I've been finding that, in some of my saddest moments these past few weeks, I have really needed to praise, because it actually makes my mind and myself healthy. So when I can set Jesus in the middle, I can get myself in the right frame of mind. Psalm 71 says, "Let my mouth be filled with your praise and with your honor all day." So it's from here that I can see from a correct vantage point, a view that is sitting on truth and not sitting on the chaos that my mind has decided to create, or the situation that I'm in. And from that point, I can pray in a really healthy way too. Because yes, praising is so important. It brings peace and rest and brings Jesus in. And because Jesus is so good. It helps to carry me through those moments, but my praise brings me into another role. It's another healing job, and that's prayer. So W. Clement Stone said that prayer is man's greatest power. The book of James, it says, the prayer of a righteous person has great power as it is working. So if there were ever a need for Christians to have working power, I would say that this might be a prime time. And, if you're one of a ton of people who are probably thinking, what can I do? How can I help? I'm not supposed to leave my house, but I really hate feeling helpless to the world around me. You can pray. Pray. Please pray. Yes. Having conversations with God has great power through Jesus. God has given you direct access to the throne, face to face. And, even though this time is really odd and we feel discombobulated, this is actually a gift right now we have to help change and affect the world in our prayer. Even if you don't have money, you can't leave the house, breakthroughs and life and these amazing things can happen while you sit in your chair because of your words, because of your prayer. So I am encouraging you this week to praise and pray. So praise, shift yourself and find the right center, the center who is Jesus, and then pray. Change the world where you're at. These simple actions, they honor God, they help to put you in a healthy frame of mind, and they help to affect everything around you. So, oh my gosh, with these simple things, God is so good. He helps us to be able to change things around us, ourselves, in the world. This is my encouragement to you this week. I pray you're blessed. We love you guys. Let's praise and pray.